Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. New demonstrations in Europe and very strangely nothing in the United States. The Czechs are demonstrating against lower standard of living, high inflation, and the way the country goes with Ukraine, seems like. By the way, in Moldova, the finance minister quit. So we're waiting for the prime minister and maybe the president, but I don't think they will do that. Why? Because they're still supported by the West, in this case the European Union. So let's see what's going on in Prague, the Czech capital. This article comes from Sputnik from today, and today is what, the 17th of November 2022. Demonstrators rally over energy crisis, military aid to Ukraine in Czech Republic. Disruption in supply chains has led to higher fuel and food prices across the EU and the United States, driving inflation to record levels and causing cost of living to soar. I don't know if cost of living soars, but definitely took a dip. Sputnik goes live from Prague as people protest against soaring energy prices and the delivery of weapons to Ukraine on the anniversary of the start of the Velvet Revolution in 1989. The Velvet Revolution between Czechs and Slovaks that disintegrated the multinational state of Czechoslovakia. I guess they didn't like diversity. They don't know that diversity is a strength. At least here in the United States, some tell us that diversity is our strength, actually. So if we would not be diverse, there would be no strength whatsoever. I don't know how other countries survived for so long and other tribes without too much diversity of that kind that they tried to push. Anyway, so that's what happened over there in '89. There were no shots fired then, and they were allowed to break into, and the key word is allowed. By whom? By the same big masters that are trying now to settle scores in Ukraine. Actually, the big master who remained after 1991 is upset that the second master tries to regain its position in the world, and they cannot be. Even though we have other big masters that are there, which would be China, which I think is even, I don't want to say worse, because it's not about being good or bad, but its influence is growing and their power is much bigger than Russia's in terms of economic power. Russia has no economic power. Russia has an economy about the economy of Italy. That's what is reported, but they don't take into consideration the black market and all that, which in Russia might be half of the reported economy, which would be then two Italies, which is not really a very big deal compared with, let's say, China or United States, but it's still close here to the European continent, which, right, is part of Europe. I talk about Russia, but China has much more influence on many other sectors of the economy and could hurt the United States, and the United States could hurt China as well. But with the market, with investments and where you sell your shit. If China doesn't sell it to United States does not have the product, but China doesn't get revenue. So let's see what's next year. Well, as I said, Czech Republic and Czechoslovakia broke in two, Czech Republic and Slovakia, in a peaceful way. Things were arranged, things were allowed. Gorbachev gave some indication to these guys in Eastern Europe before 1989. They had some meetings and with the communist then countries, and Ceausescu did not want to hear about it, so he was the one who was forced out. The rest said, okay, I guess we just change hats. Put the communist hat, put the capitalist hat, let's do it. So let's see what's next year. So at the beginning of since 2021, energy prices in European countries have been surging, EU countries, after the beginning of Russia's military operation in Ukraine in February 2022 and the adoption of several packages of sanctions against Moscow by the EU. Energy prices accelerated their rise, placing energy security high on both the global and national agendas and pushing many European governments to resort to contingency measures. Contingency, not contingency, the big countries are doing okay still, and if they have their economy wrecked for a little bit, when I'm talking about Germany, it's okay, the Americans will help. So far, the same usual suspects, let's put it this way, were in charge of demonstrations, which is in Czech Republic, Slovakia, Moldova, Germany, France. I didn't hear about any other country that had demonstrations in Europe. There might be. I know there were some strikes in Belgium with how do you call it? The flights were disrupted by this strike. I know that the plane flights, obviously Air France will have a strike on Christmas. They threatened Macron. Then you had the Germans had some big ones, and Lufthansa had about 2 strikes so far, so I don't know what Lufthansa is going to do. And Moldova, there were almost, there continued protests over there, but Sandu, the president, will be kept alive unless they just pretend they change something, change a name, but don't change the course, because that's usually how they do. They say, okay, you don't like the president, and the president has a name and a face. They take that president out, put another weasel. It's not like they appointed like just like that. No, they promote it for the people to vote for. But it's promoted by like you want to have the opportunity to buy, shoes. When you go in a store, those are the offers provided by the store. So you pick from what the store offers you. Okay, maybe you don't like any, you think of something else. Well, too bad. Those are the shoes that are available. We put for you to pick from. So it's not like a shoe was made somewhere and shows up in the store. No, it's the store who decides what shoe you will see. The same here. It's decided for us when we go to vote who's going to be the candidate and who's not going to be the candidate. And if someone gets in the race without the permission of, and they have to, because they have to show that that's competition. You have to see, oh, that's this and this and this. But it's only two people or maybe 3 that are really promoted and 1 who's really pushed with the whole strength. And we go and vote and we think, oh yeah, we have diversity. We have, we can pick and choose. Really? You could see immediately who's behind who by the mass media. You will figure out by the mass media's reports and the words, the semantics, whatever they use, you're going to figure out who's a darling and who's not a darling immediately. And it's not by the mass media, because mass media works for the same interest. So you're going to find out who's who and what's what in the first week for sure. So the same with Sandu. If they kick Sandu out and they make, they organize anticipated, new elections, they will bring someone else who's going to be of the same kind, and the other guy is going to bring their person, because over there it's a fight again between West and Russia, who's going to influence Moldova. But it's not the case in Czech Republic, even though Czech Republic is like 100% towards West, unlike Slovakia seems like. And people are going in the streets. I don't see Americans going in the streets, so the beer must be still flowing and the games be on the TV, so too busy with that one. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.